All right, welcome in, everybody. We are knocking back slip sliders here tonight. I feel good feeding the station here tonight. Actually, it's not me feeding the station, it's slip sliders. So we're having fun. Big news today in the world of the Premier League. We're going to get to that right off the top here. Call-in number is 713-780-3776. All right, you feeling the World Cup? That's what I want to know. I'm getting a lot of mixed reaction. Personally, I am ready for games, players, tactics, competition. I'm really ready for that. 713-780-3776. Are you feeling it? Obviously, there's a lot of ways to look at this World Cup. And, we got 2.5 million soccer fans here in Houston. The Dutch double-decker bus has rolled into the port of Houston. That is pretty cool. Everybody's jumping on that. But I am more concerned about looking towards that opener between Germany and Curacao. Dick Advocat is back now. He's going to coach Curacao. Germany, 4-time World Cup winners, are going to kick it off in Energy Stadium. Oh, wait, I got to get that right. It's Houston Stadium. And Oliver Baumann, David Raum, Leon Goretzka, Alexander Pavlovich, Nico Schlotterbeck, Florian Wirtz, Jamal Musiala, all the German stars, Leroy Sané, Kai Havertz, all going to be making their way here to Houston. Are you going to that first game? Is there anybody out there? 713-780-3776 is the number. And then there's Curacao. They're dreamers. Smallest nation to ever participate in a World Cup. How about that? Legendary, all these players for getting this team to the World Cup along with Dick Advocat. Now, by the way, their manager, Dick Advocat, was in Houston. I did an interview with him. He got the Netherlands to the quarterfinal of the World Cup in 1994. And we know how Curacao will play against Germany. They will sit in a low block. And we will talk about that tonight. Houston Dynamo were winners. We got Jose Mourinho going back to Real Madrid. We'll talk about that tonight. That's an amazing one. But we're going to start tonight with Arsenal. And they have been crowned the 2025-26 Premier League champions. First title in 22 years. So if we go back in the time machine and we think about 22 years ago, you're thinking about Thierry Henry, Roberto Pires, Patrick Vieira. They were called the Invincibles. Well, Mikel Arteta has won his first league title. 3 years as runners-up, and it's the 14th English league title for Arsenal. And if we all remember, he was Pep Guardiola's assistant. So Guardiola and Man City lost their ability to potentially win and stay in the race by losing today 1-0 to Bournemouth. And here is the game-winning goal. This, for Arsenal fans, is going to make you feel good.
Here is Krupi. Good chance. Lovely finish. Oh, he took that so well. No wonder Bournemouth and their fans are head over heels with Junior Krupi. Guardiola rocks back in his seat. A blow to Manchester City's jaw.
So think about that. You had an American out there in this legendary game for Bournemouth, Tyler Adams, who's going to be our key player in the 6 at the World Cup for the U.S. men's national team. As much as that gave the title to Arsenal, Bournemouth in history now will remember this game as the game they closed the door on Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, who's been so dominant for so long. And, of course, Pep Guardiola has said he is going to leave Manchester City. So pretty incredible. Now, the potential of the double is still there for Arsenal. They're in the Champions League final in Budapest, Hungary, at the end of the month. They could do the double. Now, they're going to have to beat Paris Saint-Germain, which is not going to be an easy task. But, boy, the amount of games Arsenal won 1-0 and just consistent as far as getting results. Declan Rice, the picture of consistency and reliability. Same with Gabriel and Saliba at the back. Rice at the 6. I love Declan Rice, and I'll tell you why. Because he doesn't seek attention. He's not a chest pounder. Just gets it done day in and day out. And he's going to have to do that for England in the World Cup as well. 703-780-3776. Any Arsenal fans out there tonight that want a celebratory phone call? You have your opportunity and your platform here to talk about what is a legendary moment. Now, we have a lot of live events coming up. Hugh O'Connor's Senate Avenue and The Flat, which is in Montrose. And we're also going to be down in Galveston next Monday. How about that? Going down to Galveston. We're going to Galveston Island Brewing, 8423 Stewart Road. We'll be down in Galveston, so I hope everybody joins us there next Tuesday. I will be giving away at that event a pair of tickets to the Argentina-Honduras game. And we do want to thank visitgalveston.com as well. And there you go. So we're taking it to the road. I feel like we're kind of we're a rock band. We're on the road, we're taking it on the road. By the way, I was in Austin and caught the Black Crowes. They're coming to Houston in August. Get your tickets for that. That's a heck of a show if you like hard blues rock. Great stuff. The two brothers didn't fight. Hopefully they won't by the time they get to Houston. But the Black Crowes, great band, and our friends at Cactus Music will like the fact that I mentioned the legendary Black Crowes. Okay, so let's get to a couple of things here. I think the Arsenal thing is the lead here today. We can take a look here at. So Pep Guardiola is going to leave City. I mentioned that, and it looks like Enzo Maresca is going to come in. That's the end of an era. The body of work that Pep Guardiola put together is pretty incredible. So he will leave Manchester City. No telling what's up next for him. Now, we were talking on prior shows about Jose Mourinho. He is going back, apparently, to Real Madrid on a 2-year deal. Now, this is a club that has a very divided locker room. Guys that don't get along, egos as big as Mount Rushmore. And if you remember in 2013, after a turbulent third year at Real Madrid, Jose Mourinho was, drop-kicked out of there. Relationships inside the club, the dressing room conflict, bad results, Barcelona getting over on him all the time. Out he went. And his ego was a part, apparently, of that problem as well. That's 13 years ago. And now they're bringing him back to try and sort a locker room out. That's going to be that's going to be like a soap opera. Now, apparently, Mourinho had 10 points that he had to have Real Madrid and Florentino Perez had to agree to. And I guess he got him to agree to him, if we're led to believe everything we see on the internet. But back in 2013, well, he fell out with a lot of the big names. Iker Casillas, the goalkeeper, a lot of the defenders as well, close to the Spanish national team, kind of core of the team. He dropped Casillas, and that created a big rift amongst fans and within the squad. So that's going to really be one to keep an eye on. And I think a big part of the reason bringing him back is because so much attention is played to Barcelona, and Barcelona keeps winning titles, and that's the reason they want to bring him back, because he did win one title before. But he's combative. Referees, media, rival teams, club staff, he's had every type of problem possible, but he has been a winner in the past. It's pretty amazing to see him come from Benfica back to Real Madrid. You would have thought coming in second to Villas-Boas, you would have thought that he would have wanted to compete and take Benfica to to a title. Ended up second. Next year, you want to come back and win it. You were close. Nope. Going to Real Madrid. So he didn't win major trophies in the final season. He won La Liga in 2011-12, and then the next year it just went all downhill. They finished behind Barcelona. They lost the Copa del Rey to Atletico Madrid, eliminated in the Champions League semis, third straight year, and that's when he was given the boot in 2013 when at Real Madrid. you know, it God, the ego in sports is massive. The ego everywhere is massive. I mean, it comes in a lot of different forms. But, a lot of this is stemming from Mbappe and Vinny Jr. and Jude Bellingham, and there's all kinds of stories. There's a fight in the locker room. Somebody got put in the hospital. Um, Even saying that, they did break Barcelona's dominance when Mourinho was there. So that's the real piece that I think makes him appealing to bring back. You're bringing back somebody that was able to break Barcelona's domestic dominance at the time. And there you go. He's back, a special one. He will be back at Real Madrid. All right, so Xabi Alonso got knocked out at Real Madrid, if you remember. And again, there was a lot of beef with players there. They were apparently asked to do different things. They didn't want to. Altering their game slightly. That's always very tricky with superstars. And by the way, the superstar player generally gets backed by the board over the coach, certainly in the case of Xabi Alonso. So Xabi Alonso now is signed a 4-year deal with Chelsea. It's reportedly going to run to 2030. And he's going to take over somewhere around July 1, before the end of the World Cup. With Rossinier, Callum McFarland, who's the interim coach, it's not been good at Chelsea. That's who he's replacing. Look, Xabi Alonso built his reputation with Bayer Leverkusen, and at Bayer Leverkusen, he had a whole group of players that really bought into what he was doing. They called him Bayer Never Losing because he didn't lose a season, didn't lose a game during that season when they won the Bundesliga. He catapults into the atmosphere and the stratosphere as being one of the most vibrant, exciting young coaches. And then you go to Real Madrid, and this is a whole new kettle of fish. But Chelsea is looking at him, and we'll see if this holds true, as someone who's going to build a project, and they're going to give him the opportunity to stabilize the club after a lot of chaos, a lot of up and down. Consistency is what it's all about, and we'll see how this is going to work for Xabi Alonso, who was an exceptional player as well. We'll see. Yeah, that's a big one. 713-780-3776 is the number to call in here tonight. So here's a couple of other things to remind you. Big international match coming up to Texas A&M. I mentioned that. Defending world champions Argentina. They're going to take on Honduras up there. This is June 6th. Now, there's a lot of friendlies, right before the World Cup. A lot of teams are playing on June 6th. The U.S. men's national team is going to play on June 6th. Against Germany. It's their final warm-up. And we'll be able to take a look at Germany against the U.S. before they're going to come here and play Curacao in their opener. It's called the Road to Argentina. Argentina versus Honduras, June 6th. You get your tickets at roadto26.com. That's roadto26.com. So if you go up to Kyle Field, and I'm being told there's going to be 80,000 plus people there for a friendly. There's a guy named Leo Messi going to be there. But you've also got Julian Alvarez of Atletico Madrid. You got Rodrigo de Paul of Inter Miami. You got Emi Martinez, was a top goalkeeper in 2022 at Qatar. Road to26.com if you want a piece of that action at Texas A&M's Kyle Field. Argentina, Honduras. Yeah. All right. We're munching on tremendous slip sliders. Thanks to Rashid Rafai and Slip Sliders down on 1802 Bins right near the zoo, Herman Park, and the museums. Perfect spot to hit up. By the way, if you go into Slip Sliders, mention Soccer Matters, mention my name, wear a jersey, mention the sport of soccer. Anything soccer related is going to get you 15% off your bill, and we know they're good. You can also get Slip Sliders on DoorDash and Grubhub. Senate Avenue Brewing, award-winning craft beer, 16,000 Dillard in Jersey Village. 290, take the Senate Avenue exit. They are having a watch party up there tonight for the Dynamo St. Louis Open Cup match. Andrew Mitchum, the mayor, is there. The supporters group, the Surge, is there. Great patio. It is a great spot to watch the World Cup this summer. Senate Avenue Brewing in Jersey Village. Let's take a break. We got a lot to come here tonight.
You're listening to Soccer Matters
on ESPN 97.5 and 97.9 HD2.
Brought to you by the Daspit Law Firm. From the Huntington Bank Studios, here's Glenn Davis.
All right, welcome back, everybody, as we roll on here tonight. That's Shakira, and this is the official World Cup song. You get a lot of World Cup songs, but I think this is the official one. Do want to remind you, we're going to be down in Galveston for a live show. Really looking forward to that next Tuesday. A little bit more details on that a little bit later on. Everybody is mobilizing now. We're less than 30 days away from the World Cup coming to Houston. Our opener, Germany against Curacao. And everybody's very, very excited. Couple of things here real quick. Nico's Greek and American Cafe institution. Woodlands, Beltway and I-10, the original in Montrose. You go in there, you get the gyros, souvlaki plates, chicken kebabs, lamb shank. I love the moussaka. Chicken soup is, if I get a cold, I always go there for the chicken soup. Keftedes, Greek meatballs. That's Dimitri and Company. His parents built this business. He's carried it on. It's an institution in Houston. It's Nico's Greek and American Cafe. Now, as everybody's trying to sort out their spots where they're going to watch the World Cup, I'm going to tell you about one that's incredibly unique. It is the Magnolia Ballroom. This is going to be a premier international soccer watch party destination for the 2026 Cup. Air conditioned. Okay, think about that. It's right between the Post and the Fan Fest. The Magnolia Ballroom Cup experience is all inclusive. It's going to feature all day access, 4 premium cocktails. You get curated light bites. Here's the thing, it's located right in the heart of downtown, 2 blocks from Main Street, 1 block from the Post Houston, and approximately 1.2 miles from the Fan Fest. So fans are going to be able to move between everything down there. You're going to want to watch the game here for a lot of reasons. It is a historic building. It's got a 134-year history. It survived Prohibition. It was a brewery that produced 200,000 barrels of beer annually, and it was right along the bayou. So it sits in a really, really cool spot. It's going to be one of the most unique places to watch the Cup. And if you drop over to Instagram, you'll see a video I put from down there, and it shows a rotunda inside this historic Magnolia Ballroom, and it gives you a really cool look at what it is. But when you walk in, you feel history. So why am I talking about it when I can bring on the man from the Magnolia Brewery himself? He is Jeff Scott. He joins us now. Jeff, how are you?
Doing well, Glenn. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. I want to just lead you into this. You took me around the Magnolia Ballroom. It looks absolutely amazing. It's going to be an incredible spot. Just take us into how you're going to turn this into a place for soccer fans and why it's so unique.
Oh, yes. Well, as you mentioned, we've been around for 134 years. The building, as you see it today, it's around 1912. And so what we're doing to activate the space is we're going to have a 20-foot wide massive LED screen. We're going to have screens throughout the venue. We're going to have craft cocktails. We will have light bites. It is absolutely free to get in. For all match days, we will be showing all 104 matches. And then at 10 p.m., we will be having a massive after party where we have DJs and all types of cultural events. So we think it's going to be a fantastic time.
Yeah, and I love the location, and of course I've been in there before, but it was great to go back in there and kind of get reintroduced to the Magnolia Ballroom. I've had friends who've had their wedding receptions there, and when you go in there and you just think of the history and what happened on the bayou and floods and the economy turning down and the place being reinvented, there is something unique and special. And you walk around there a lot. What's it like when you're in there? I mean, I felt history when I walked back in there the other day.
Well, you definitely feel the history when you're in the building. The owners have taken meticulous care of the building to restore it to its former glory. It's just a testament to the different eras that Magnolia Ballroom has gone through. So you definitely feel like you are a part of the city. So we most certainly feel like it is one of the premier locations in the city to watch the World Cup.
Yeah, and you know what? Great on the owners for keeping it alive. I think sometimes in Houston, our historic buildings were a little bit too quick to maybe do something different, So I don't know who the owners are, but whoever they are, big hats off to them for keeping this historic building and location alive. Anything else, Jeff, you want to shoot out to everybody? We got more videos we're going to drop of it. I'm certainly going to drop, but I'm just telling you, as a soccer fan, if you want to get a great Cup experience and watch it, Magnolia Ballroom is going to be it will be the most unique watching spot in downtown Houston.
Yeah, the last thing I want to add is I would like to give Jean-Luc from Team Houston a shout-out. They've done an amazing job bridging the gap between soccer and business and really informing the city and bringing out the real players in the industry to make sure that Houston does a fantastic job of presenting itself to the world. So definitely shout out to Team Houston.
Yeah, Team Houston, Jean-Luc Blackmorn, we really appreciate all the efforts. And it just goes to show you that this is everybody's World Cup, and everybody can do things independently. I'm doing that through videos and different things. So It's excellent, and we're pulling for Magnolia Ballroom. Let's get down there and let's watch the Cup there with Jeff. Jeff, thanks so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me, Glenn.
All right. We appreciate that. And he mentioned Team Houston, so good stuff there from Jeff. And, of course, Jan-Luc is Dutch, and he is wanting a World Cup. And the Dutch, having gotten to 3 World Cup finals, you surely are thinking that they want to be the ones to make history in the Netherlands. Ronald Koeman, the coach of the Dutch, they're going to come out of that 4-3-3 shape. Cody Gakpo, Memphis Depay. Simons got injured, their winger. So that's a little bit of a difficult blow for them. Frankie de Jong is going to be their controller and midfielder. You got Reijnders, Gravenbach, Nathan Ake. People will know him. He kind of plays that left back position or right back position and jumps into midfield. Dumfries. And then, of course, you got Virgil van Dijk as a center back, a big leader of that team. But Xavi Simons tore his ACL. That's a big loss because he was an important piece out wide in that 4-3-3 shape for Ronald Koeman in the Netherlands. All right, 713-780-3776. Where are you watching the World Cup? Are you going to games? Are you barbecuing at home? Are you going to go to Senate Avenue Brewing? Are you going to go to Hugh O'Connor's Pub? Are you going to go to Magnolia Ballroom? Are you going to go down to Galveston and catch it down there? Where are you going to watch the World Cup? 713-780-3776 is the number to call in here tonight. Arsenal fans, where are you? Because you have pulled off something extraordinary and winning the Premier League for the first time in 22 years. Pretty amazing. And it happens today. I think their final match will be at Crystal Palace. And I think that's away. So Arsenal gets it done after 22 years. We have a very interesting, and by the way, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Glenn Davis Sock. You can also go over to YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, Soccer Matters. We've been putting up a lot of videos. Our latest one was on the wonderful Damon Neal Museum. So what I've been trying to do with these videos is highlight some of the real attributes of Houston, Texas, to those coming in from Germany, the Netherlands, whether they're coming from the Congo, wherever they're coming from. Curacao apparently has a couple thousand people coming here to Houston, Texas. So starting Thursday night, we've got Unam Pumas taking on Cruz Azul, home and away, for the Liga MX title. Hey, Dynamo fans, remember a guy named Coco Carrasquilla? Well, he's playing for the title. And Pumas this year, under Efrain Juarez, has kind of silenced, I think, the naysayers. You've got 2 Mexican coaches in this final. And I'll get into that in a second and what that means. But this is pretty amazing. Unam Pumas against Cruz Azul. Joel Huique, who played for the national team. Unam Pumas, Efrain Juarez. Both Mexican managers. And if you heard my interview with Jaime Lozano, the former Mexican national team coach, a couple weeks ago, he mentioned Efrain Juarez, but he also mentioned that it's very tough and that more opportunity, he alluded to, needed to be given to the Mexican coach. So it's 2 Mexican coaches that got their teams to the final. So Unam Pumas finished number 1 in the regular season on 36 points. They got past Pachuca. Now, they didn't beat Pachuca. They basically, it was an equal aggregate. But in Mexico, you advance if you're even on aggregate. The higher team in the standings during the regular season advances, which I think is a good rule. Pumas won the title, so they were ahead of the Tuzos of Pachuca, and out went Pachuca. Cruz Azul finished 3rd in the table, and they knocked out Chivas in the semis, 4-3 on aggregate. Dramatic second leg in that one. That was a good one. But you got a lot of great storylines here. All Mexico City final. two historic clubs without a doubt. Puma's seeking a first title. They're kind of like Arsenal. Puma's seeking a first title since 2011. That's a long time ago. Cruz Azul are chasing another championship. If you remember in 2021, they won the title. Pumas finished higher in the standings, so they get to host the second leg. So the second leg will be at the Olympic Stadium in Mexico City. And, well, if Coca Carrasquilla wins it, as I was told, it would be 3 straight titles, one with a former Houston Dynamo player. If you remember, Hector Herrera was kind of a sub and came on late in games like he is for the Dynamo now for Toluca when they won their 2 titles. But this is great for the Mexican coach, and I hope this is being highlighted because they need more opportunity, and I think the Mexican player needs more opportunity also. But this is pretty big. Now, to Efrain Juarez, the Pumas coach, he was an MLS champion as an assistant coach. He went to Europe and was assistant at Standard Liège and Bruges in Belgium. He coached Atlético Nacional in Colombia, won a League Cup and a Cup there, and then in less than a year, he's taken Pumas to the final. So it's a pretty big deal. He's only 38 years old. So a couple of players to maybe keep an eye on. Carlos Rodriguez, kind of a playmaker for Cruz Azul. You got Nicolas Ibanez, proven striker. He's a guy that can be dangerous, no question about it. Eric Lira, defensive midfielder, who also can play at the back as well. So they got a number of guys. Cruz Azul's leading goal scorer is Paradela. And Robert Morales has got 8. And Juninho has 8 for Pumas. So this is a good one. Thursday, and then on the weekend, they'll turn it around again. And it's Pumas against Cruz Azul. So for Liga MX fans, this is one to keep an eye on this week. All right, so tonight you got the Dynamo in St. Louis. That's up at Senate Avenue. They're having a watch party. The Surge is up there. Those guys have been coming out for our live radio shows. I really appreciate that. We've got a lot of good shows there. So let me start in on the Dynamo in Vancouver. And again, 713-780-3776, the number to call in here tonight. What does the World Cup mean to you? Are you excited about it? Talk to me. So Dynamo got a 1-0 victory this past weekend. 96-minute Guilherme. He's an all-star. He makes the all-star team. Has to. Significant signing. The Dynamo have kind of struck out on their DPs, but not with this guy. This is an excellent signing. So they get the late goal, 90+6, down at Shell Energy Stadium. Vancouver had a 7-match unbeaten streak. Came off a short corner with Artur, cuts inside. Fires kind of a low shot. It takes a deflection and goes in at the near post. By the way, at that time, Takaoka, the goalkeeper for Vancouver, had been sent off due to an inexplicable decision, took a player down. And his backup, honestly, it was savable. He looks like he's trying to sweep it and scoop it away as opposed to just kind of deflect it and parry it wide. I don't think it was typical goalkeeping, what would I say, technique. He looked not very good on it. Doesn't matter. Went in. It's 3 points. Dynamo were 6-5. And it took all the way to the 90+6, 96 minute after Takaoka went off in the 64th to breach the Whitecaps and take the full 3 points. Now, you don't take the full 3 points there, you're looking at this very, very differently. By the way, Takaoka took down Bogusz. Jonathan Bond, 3 saves. 4th clean sheet of the year for him. But when we come back, I'm going to continue a couple observations on this. I'm kind of giving you the facts. Now I'm going to come back and give you a little bit of opinion on this. All right, before we go to break here, I want to remind you about Echo's Live Music Bar. Global music with a wonderful mix of Brazilian jazz nights, Turkish funk, Arab and Viet pop, DJs, Greek and Nigerian nights, excellent food, Greek and Mexican inspired food and cocktails that reflect Greek and family culture. You can follow Echoes on Instagram and Facebook. Now, this is 900 Richmond, right near the intersection of Montrose and Richmond, next to the Shell station. It's just a cool place. They got books about music, they got DJs, live music, Turkish funk, Arab and Viet pop. It's all genres. So you got to check and see what type of a night it is and what type of music they have going on. But it really is, to me, it kind of connects with, it definitely connects with the global nature of soccer, music. This is Charlie Sexton, who in the 80s was kind of taken by producers and asked to do kind of a dance song. This is like not really him if you think about it, but it's a good song. He was popped on stage with the Black Crowes in Austin as well. All right, we'll take a break. We're going to come back. More Dynamo Talk. We'll take your phone calls at 713-780-3776. Come back. Let's talk.
You're listening to Soccer Matters,
On ESPN 97.5 and 97.9 HD2.
brought to you by the Daspit Law Firm. From the Huntington Bank Studios, here's Glenn Davis.
All right, this is Daft Punk. Cactus Music reminds you to get down there for the best in vinyl, CDs. CDs making a bit of a comeback, but you get the pre-owned or the reissued vinyl, you can get Daft Punk. I know there's Daft Punk fans out there. All right, welcome back to Soccer Matters, ESPN 97.5, presented by John Daspit and the Daspit Law Firm, daspitlaw.com, 713-CALL now. John and his firm, personal injury attorneys, they've been getting soccer on the airwaves for you. You got to fight for your right for compensation. Well, you want the Daspit Law Firm. Car, boat, motorcycle accidents, bicycle, maritime, construction. You get in an accident, you got to get the best. The best is the Daspit Law Firm, daspitlaw.com, 713-CALL now. By the way, years of supporting Soccer Talk and Soccer Matters on the radio. So a big, big thank you for that. Okay, next Tuesday, May 26th, 6 to 8 p.m., we're at Galveston Island Brewing. That is 8423 Stewart Road. We got asked to come down to Galveston, and we are going down to Galveston. We're going to do a live remote down there. We're going to help promote the island as a great place to visit during the World Cup, which I think it is. We're going to do one of those very, very cool videos that we have been doing and posting on TikTok and YouTube at Soccer Matters. So be ready. We're coming down there. We're also going to give a pair of tickets away to somebody live to the Argentina-Honduras game on June 6th. And again, a reminder, that's the defending World Cup champions taking on Honduras. I talked to a good friend of mine, Sebastian Abraham. You know him from Patagonia Empanadas. He said, Argentina's ready for this. They're ready to try and win it a second time. They're all just laying back. They're letting everybody make the noise. But he says they're ready. So anyway, massive international match, Texas A&M. Argentina, Honduras, Thursday, June 6th, Kyle Field, Road to 26, Argentina versus Honduras. You get your tickets at roadto26.com, roadto26.com, or you listen to Soccer Matters for the next couple of weeks before the 6th, and we're going to drop them in. So you got to be ready. And if it's at a live event, you got to show up. The other thing I will tell you about Texas A&M, after so many years, G. Guerreri was there. Built the program up to great heights. He has moved on now. The new coach has come in. And we're going to do an interview with him. Bobby Shuttleworth will join me tonight here later on in the show. Talk about A&M, talk about his rise in coaching. If you remember, he was goalkeeper in Major League Soccer with such teams. I remember him mainly calling his games for the New England Revolution, but he was also at Minnesota and Chicago, and he's a young college coach. He's part of the FSU staff with Brian Penske that won a couple of national titles. So he'll be on later. Next segment, we'll go to Austin to talk about all the craziness. Fired. Nico Estevez out. Anthony Precourt says goodbye to Rodolfo Borrell, the sporting director. So there you go. Just like that. Kind of felt it coming. They're just treading water up there. So that's what you got. Oscar Ortega Jr. reminded me, and thank you for that, Oscar. You got to talk about Joao Pedro being left off the Brazil squad, not even a Chelsea guy, but crazy to see. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. Neymar makes it. And again, I think you got to realize that there's a lot of different ways people get on rosters. When you're as big a celebrity as Neymar and the whole country, or a large portion of it, maybe 60% of it, loves you no matter what you do, no matter what your performance is on the field, you're going to go to a World Cup. And he is. Carlo Ancelotti picked him. There was some really cool video out there that showed when he was announcing the names. And when he mentioned Neymar, there was a whole bunch of kids who stopped to practice indoors at an indoor facility. And they were listening. And when they heard it, like these 20 kids were so excited that they went running all over the facility. But then you really got to feel for a guy like Joao Pedro. And players that don't make the squad. Now, it's all dependent on the makeup of the roster, positionally, how many people are going. But man, that's a big one, and I appreciate Oscar mentioning that. And I just mentioned a minute ago, Xavi Simons with an ACL tear for the Netherlands, big piece of the team. He may not be as big a name for certain people, but when it comes to the Netherlands, he is. That's just when you're at the pinnacle and you're getting close to the rarefied air of playing in a World Cup and you get robbed due to injury. Boy, that's mind games right there. 713-780-3776 is the number. 713-780-3776 is the number. Again, Tuesday, May 26th, we'll be at Galveston Island Brewing, and that is 8423 Stewart Road. I hope you get down there for that. Everybody down in Galveston, I want to see all the soccer fans out for that one because I know there's a lot of them in Galveston, and we'll be giving away a pair of tickets to Argentina, Honduras. Okay, so let's go back to the Dynamo. If you look back at that game, Dynamo started very poorly. 11 seconds in, Vancouver goes off the post. It's always remarkable to me that teams off the opening kickoff sometimes get surprised. And it's basically just a long ball, and Augustin Resch gets caught out of position. The left back gets caught. And there's a little pocket of space which Vancouver hits, and they go off the post. That goes in. It could be a very different night. And it is a very different night because then the Dynamo now have to chase the game and come out and try to produce a goal and maybe open themselves up a little bit more. So minutes after that, Resch, who I think has a good future, hit a very bad ball into midfield, and that could have been punished too. And I think the Dynamo dodged a bullet there a little bit when it comes to the way they started that game. So I think you can be critical of that. That's fair. I mean, Guilherme's he's a game winner. He's a match winner. He's the key piece, I think, for the Dynamo. No question about it. But as I said a couple of weeks ago, the basis of the way they're going to play is lower block, supports the two center backs. It's more comfortable for them. They have the pace. They have the runners in Guilherme and Lawrence Anali. They have enough players that can run the ball out of midfield that you can have Ezequiel Ponce way, way back deep defending. It's not my favorite way of playing the game. But look, that's what they're doing. And they're trying to win games 1-0. And that's the way it's going to happen. Now, when there's congested schedules, you're going to see a big lineup change. And because of personnel, the tactics change as well. And maybe an opponent, you might be a little bit more aggressive. But I think you're really seeing the blueprint now of Ben Olsen and the team, and that's the way it's going to be. 713-780-3776. Minutes away, I think the Dynamo will start in the Open Cup against St. Louis, and then they play the LA Galaxy, and then they're getting a long break. So if you're a Major League Soccer team and you're Austin, you can bring in a new coach, and I'm sure they were already planning potentially for this and had an eye on who that may be. There are a lot of coaches out there. Bob Bradley's out there. You got Jim Curtin, who took a Philadelphia Union team to an MLS Cup. There's a lot of people out there that have, by the way, MLS experience. So if you think about that, you will have enough time with the World Cup to almost have like a preseason. And that'll make it good. Now, do you hire a sporting director first? What goes on? By the way, Davey Arno from Nederland, Texas, who is a great friend of this show and helped out a lot of our cancer initiatives for charity. He is the interim coach right now. Wondering if he could potentially get a shot at being the head coach. So he's outlasted his friend Josh Wolf, and he's outlasted Nico Estevez as well as an assistant. So Good. He's a good man. Davey Orno. Excellent MLS player, too. Hardworking player. Crosses that threshold of the time period in MLS where you weren't getting paid quite as much. Of course, it looked like big money to me based on what I was paid. But, yeah, that's kind of where it is. Big thanks to Cactus, Nico Nikos, Lamont Brands, Hugh O'Connor, Senate Avenue, Slip Sliders, LSSE.net, Magnolia Ballroom. Big thank you to all of them. Tomorrow, Aston Villa Freiburg for the Europa League title. My plan is to make it out to Hugh O'Connor's I-10 in the Marquee Entertainment Center. Big day out there. Aston Villa supporters group's going to be out there. Villa's looking to make some history tomorrow. That's going to be a very emotional day for Aston Villa and Freiburg of Germany in the Europa League final. Big payday, too, by the way. Big payday. So that'll be a good spot to hit up. So here in Houston, well, we've got our World Cup matches coming through. And you'll hear this in the interview with Bobby Shuttleworth that he's going to the Netherlands-Sweden game. But I asked him about, taking over for somebody who was at Texas A&M as a head coach, who's legendary, who built the program. The one thing that G. Guerreri came close, didn't get, was the national title. It's the one thing. But, boy, A&M athletics, resources, they want to win. It's the other thing. They want to win. I don't think there's any question, and you'll see that interview. It's a pretty interesting interview. It's a good one, and Bobby was a good interview, so I enjoyed it very, very much, and I look forward to playing that for you later on. Next segment we have live Eric Goodman coming from Austin, Texas, the Verde Report. We're going to talk about Austin FC, where they're at, what type of mobilization is going on for the World Cup up there. I was just up there. I didn't see a whole lot of World Cup stuff. In fact, I didn't feel any World Cup. 713-780-3776 is the number. Ezequiel Ponce, it's 11 games without a goal in Major League Soccer, unfortunately for him. Don't know. This system's not going to suit him very well, this transition game. So you're going to hear a lot of praise, the defensive work that he does. He may get more and more chances to be a starter. So you'll see Linger probably get an opportunity once again. But there you go. Let's go to the phone lines and Adam. Let's go to Adam.
How you doing, Glenn? It's
Adam.
Adam from Houston Spurs. We spoke a few years back.
Yes. Hi, Adam. How are you?
Mate.
How are you?
I'm not that great, mate, to be honest with you. Probably one of the worst days of my life.
Talk to me.
I think seeing that lot as the Arsenal win the league is a little worse than us losing to Chelsea today. But I got to say, Glenn, try not to be bitter, but definitely the worst team to win the Premier League. Easily the worst. That front three, they bored their way to the title. Fair play to them. But boring football. Boring soccer.
So let me ask you a question. Who do you support? Chelsea?
Tottenham. Houston Spurs.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that's right.
Spurs.
Houston Spurs. Thanks you for jolting my memory here.
Yeah.
And you just said that. So that's the second time. Sometimes you have to say things twice to me to get through this.
That's all right, mate. My mind's a bit like that too.
So let me just say this. They're not the first team to ever grind it out, right? And maybe not be applauded for aesthetics, right?
Yeah.
They're not the first, so we can talk performance against results. Did they actually play better? They won a lot of 1-0 games. Gabriel, Saliba,
8 games, right?
Declan Rice, these guys were pretty consistent in what they did. I think we have to credit that. I don't know.
Oh, listen, you got to applaud. You got any team that wins the Premier League
Absolutely
deserves it, right? They deserved it. The Premier League is a 38-game season, and they fully deserve to win it. But in terms of when you think about the City teams, the Liverpools, even dare I say it, the Arsenal teams under Wenger, United, obviously, even Leicester. I mean, they Leicester were not the. I think they win it with the least amount of possession, but just so devastating on the counter. So, in terms of, I was like, listen, well done, Arsenal. You've won the league, but yeah, I
Hey,
can't.
listen, it's fair game. It's
The
fair
team for
game.
me.
Yeah, it's fair game. You can talk about the aesthetics, the way they did it, but you also answered your own question by saying it's a difficult league to win. So good for them. Arteta becomes a winner. Nobody's going to really worry about the aesthetics 10 years from now. This wasn't maybe the Invincibles type of football, but nonetheless, they're well-deserved champions, and they got it done, and that's that. Hey, listen, thank you so much for calling, Adam. Good to hear from you again. Let us know in the future. We'll get you on the program, okay?
Sounds good. Cheers, Ben. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks to Adam there. Yeah, well, it runs so deep in the Premier League. But you can also say that their press force mistakes at times. They were able to find the moments to win games. Their midfield was really good, controlling transitional moments and defending the break, I think. Declan Rice, was excellent. But, are they going to be able to contain PSG? We'll see in the Champions League final. That's for sure. All right, we're going to come back. Second hour, we're going to come back with Eric Goodman. I'm going to remind you, extraordinary seats, elevated food and beverage, exceptional service. Yeah, you get it through lsse.net, lsse.net for the World Cup. You can witness the action and glory in this inclusive hospitality package. Extraordinary seats, elevated food and beverage, exceptional service, lsse.net. All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you, John Daspit and the Daspit Law Firm, for bringing soccer talk to Houston, and it means even more now as we're in a World Cup year. Senate Avenue Brewing will be out there next month for our second Tuesday of the month. We'll be doing a live show there. Hugh O'Connor's Pub. Get there tomorrow for the Europa League final. There'll be a lot of Aston Villa fans there. Hugh O'Connor's Pub, I-10 in the Marquee Entertainment Center. And then next month, we got a cup celebration at Hugh O'Connor's as well. And we're going to be giving away tickets to Argentina, Honduras. Next Tuesday, the road show continues. We're down live, Galveston Island Brewing in Galveston. And we're looking forward to getting down there and reminding people that in between games, Galveston's going to be a great spot to hit up. Echo's Live Music Bar, global music, Brazilian, jazz nights, Turkish funk, Arab and Viet pop, 900 Richmond Avenue. This is near the intersection of Montrose and Richmond, next to the Shell Station. They serve up Greek and Mexican-inspired food and cocktails that reflect Greek and family culture. Follow Echoes on Instagram and Facebook. So we welcome everybody back to the show here. By the way, just a quick note on, the talk about Arsenal winning the title. Look, they've controlled games in a lot of different ways tactically. It may not be the prettiest thing. It may not be the Invincibles, but as Adam said, they won the Premier League. It's not an easy thing to do. So everybody can have their opinion on how they did it, the aesthetics of it. They're the champions. They won it. Arteta did it. Came close a couple of times. He got it done. There's something to be said for that. And, it's not always about possession. It's about who uses the ball better maybe at times and who has those moments, who's clinical. But it turned into a heck of a defending team with Saliba and Gabriel and, of course, Declan Rice. All right, to the phone lines we go. We're going to go to Austin, Texas. I was just there to see the Black Crows at the Moody Center. He is from the Verde Report. Love having him on the show always. He's Eric Goodman. Eric, how are you?
Doing good, Glenn. Hey, what'd you think of that arena?
I liked it. I liked it for concerts. It's smaller than I thought it would be, but I hadn't been in there. It was really, really cool. It feels intimate to me.
Yeah, it's a good spot. We're lucky to have that be part of the atmosphere here.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. And there's not a bad seat in the place, and I guess there's probably a couple thousand more people on the floor for a concert, so it was good. All right, so I was disappointed in one thing about Austin. I didn't see many visible signs about anything around the World Cup up there, even though, it's not a host city, but you do have Saudi Arabia up there as a base camp team. Are there signs around town about the World Cup?
Not really. Like you can, like you said, like you can drive around, majority of the day and not see anything. You're right. Like it's not a host city. Austin FC is trying to do its part. It's going to be hosting, watch parties downtown for, throughout the tournament, and are trying to drum up, some PR for that. But yeah, I mean, it's I think people individually are aware, but it's not like there's this huge community marketing situation, and it'll be interesting to see kind of how the city does or doesn't coalesce around it.
I don't know if this is fair, and I know there's international soccer fans 100% in Austin. I know it. But is it more of an MLS type city to you than it is an international soccer city?
I mean, I think it's like most places here. It's a soccer city in the sense that it's got a great playing culture. There's tons and tons of leagues of all age groups, from U7 to over 50, and MLS has become a big part of it. There's also plenty of Premier League and that kind of support. But the global Team USA, the global game, there is an American Outlaws chapter that does well in numbers, and I think that's growing. But I mean, we'll see. I'm anxious to see what the crowd situation is when it comes to these World Cup watch parties.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And also, I know there's a lot of supporters groups up there. I know I've had contact with different groups, and I know there's a Celtics supporters group up there and everything. They may be very happy right now. So there you go. All right, take me into. Well, you kind of felt it coming. Nico Estevez, the head coach of Austin FC, and then Rodolfo Burrell, both relieved. Kind of give us the update. You're the man on the ground there, Eric.
Yeah, so I mean, it did come somewhat as a shock to me. Certainly the Burrell side of things. I mean, when you talk about Estevez, he's 1.5 seasons in Austin. His first season, he just about, barely got to where the club's, kind of standard was set out. He qualified for the playoffs in Austin in the 7th position in the West. Got blown out in the first round by LAFC. They did also qualify for a final of the U.S. Open Cup. Lost that to Nashville. So I mean, overall, it was a modest success in year one. The wheels kind of fell off here in year two. Only 3 wins through 14 games. A lot of two games of conceding 5 goals, and injuries were a huge part. There's no doubt about that. It's potentially, you could argue it's harsh, but at the same time, Nico Estevez never really had that kind of aura of somebody that was going to take this club, really to the upper echelons of MLS. So you could argue that there was, no time was too soon to make a change. But the Burrell side, I mean, this was a guy that Austin FC was so heavily invested in. He was so involved in every part of the club, from obviously constructing the roster, but also building out a scouting department and an academy system that really never really got off the ground. And for him not to be given the chance to hire one more coach to try to make his vision a success in Austin was really surprising to me, and speaks to kind of how desperate things got, especially from an ownership perspective here.
So when he was in place when he hired Nico Estevez, right?
Nico Estevez was his hire. I mean, he came in when Josh Wolf was still the coach.
Yeah.
Burrell was very vocal about wanting to work with Josh Wolf. Didn't take long for that to obviously change. He's credited with making that coaching change, and it's the line that stuck with Burrell his whole time here. As soon as Wolf was dismissed, he said that he had been getting interest in the job from, quote, names you couldn't believe.
Yeah, I remember that.
And of course, got everybody's hopes up. And then for it to be Nico Estevez, who just months earlier had been fired by FC Dallas, was kind of a name you couldn't believe in the other direction, and really was an underwhelming. And, we'll never know to what extent, what budget was Burrell given to work with, how much was the ownership involved in that choice. But again, that was who he tied his fate to, and ultimately, as Estevez went out the door, Burrell went with him.
Well, Jaime Lozano is available. He's a former Mexican national team coach. He was on my show 2 weeks ago. He very not desperately, but he would love to be in Major League Soccer. He interviewed twice with the Houston Dynamo. There's an option. You got Jim Curtin out there. You got all kinds of people out there. The next hire is going to be important, but did they get a sporting director first before the coach? And I would have to think that they have names and things in mind. I don't think this just dropped very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, they are hiring. The name of the firm escapes me, but they're hiring a very oft-utilized firm that, was one of the things that they do. They go and help ownership groups find executives. But you're right. That to have both of those. Yeah,
that's great. Hire a firm where they don't know anything about soccer to hire a soccer coach. I love that. Yeah.
But the fact that both positions are open does open the door for somebody like, a Wilfred Nancy, a Greg Berhalter type, obviously not Berhalter himself, but the kind of mind that comes in wanting to do everything and be a total CEO of the whole system from a coach and a sporting director standpoint.
Bob Bradley's out there too. He's had enough experience. I mean, that may not be a popular choice for some, but listen, the guy's been successful to a degree. He's won an MLS Cup. He's been there, done that, but it'll be interesting. Eric, as always, thanks so much for all the insight. We appreciate it, and we look forward to having you on again in the near future.
Appreciate it, Glenn. Great to talk to you.
Yeah, it's always good to have Eric Goodman on the Verde Report. I suggest you watch it. He's up on everything Austin, Texas, and thanks to him for coming on here tonight. All right. What show do you hear? Daft Punk, some great country music. I mean, there's no show in Houston who has our musical mix, Brian. And when I struggle, I just go, Brian, Black Keys, or give me something hard. And he kills it. He killed it with all the Ozzy in the last show. All right, we're going to take a break here. More to come. We're going to finish off strong tonight. Texas A&M soccer coach Bobby Shuttleworth will join us next. He's a new hire up in Aggie Land.
to try to understand it even better because he's thinking it a certain way. So I'm trying to, get to his wavelength or even, somewhere around there where I can have my own idea about the game of soccer. So I think that's the biggest thing he's probably done for me. And then also for the group, he just came in and wanted to be one of the guys. He didn't want to be more than that. He wanted to, fit in, and not be Thomas Mullen, just be a teammate and work hard and do all the right things, around the facility and at the game day. So, yeah, he's been great, honestly, for the city of Vancouver, man. People love him, and we need someone like him to come in and, almost get the city going and show that soccer is a real thing in Vancouver.
Let me just ask you, can you give me an example of something that he brought up to you that may have helped your game?
Yeah, we talk a lot about the next pass. So how do I position myself for the next pass? And that's something because he's always between lines. How can I find him more? Another example I think is defensively. Always being. It's funny because he's like a coach in the field. So he's like when he's running, he wants me to be already anticipating. Before he's running, anticipating the next pass. Because he's gonna press in the first one. How can I anticipate the next one? So. Defensively, he's also helped me to read the game, and be more aggressive and take more chance and, take that upon myself that I can be a guy to win balls too.
Vancouver Whitecap, Sebastian Berhalter joining us. Yeah, talk about the excitement in Vancouver, because from afar, it looks amazing. Yeah. Like, you guys seem like the most popular team in the city now. Yeah. He's out everywhere. You guys are out everywhere. Yeah. It's pretty phenomenal.
It's crazy you even say that because I think 4 years ago I would have thought that's impossible. I would have thought, 100%. I would have thought, most people I talked to didn't know we had a soccer team in the city. Yeah. And that's only 4 or 5 years ago. And now it's at the point where everybody knows we have a team. Yeah. Everybody knows we have a team that's doing well. And that's something that I'm so proud of, because that's something me and a couple of guys first coming in, we were like, how do we, we were other, like Austin, you said, was a first year big team and other guys come from other big teams and you come here like, wow, like nobody really knows about this team, and we're playing for it. Like, how do we bring it to the next level? And I think these last 2 years has been a great example to, all the hard work everyone's put in around to elevate the team and to make it, like you said, like a popular team. And even the fact that you're saying that, 4 years ago, I promise you I would have thought that was impossible.
Well, at the end of the day, you're entertainers also, right? Like, you want to play in front of a crowd and get the feedback, whatever it is, right? Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense. Now, with all that said, the big pink elephant, not really, it's not a pink elephant in the room. Everybody knows about it. There's the potential of franchise moving. How's that affecting you and the rest of the players?
It doesn't affect us. We just want to make everyone proud. We want to make the city of Vancouver and the fans proud of us, and if anything, it's going to push us even more to accelerate our game and to be even better. Because there's no reason why Vancouver shouldn't have a soccer team. I mean, you've seen the last 2 years how much the team's grown, the city's grown, and how much more we can still grow. We still have work to go through in the city of Vancouver with soccer. So, yeah, for us, it's something that we just want to make the fans and the city proud.
Everybody aware of the World Cup coming to Vancouver? I mean, do you get that feeling in the city?
Yeah, I think that's been growing. You see the banners, the posters, and I feel like everybody knows it's coming, but maybe they don't understand, what is actually.
Sounds like Houston too.
Yeah, exactly. Like what it actually entails and what the World Cup really is about. So it'll be really cool.
Yeah. So going back to the World Cup in Vancouver, are there visible signs around?
Yeah.
You see flags or murals?
Yeah.
Do you see any of that stuff?
No, you're starting to see, like
a bit more.
Yeah, I think like little World Cup stuff even in grocery stores and. I was walking to my local grocery store and it was like a Coke thing and a World Cup thing. I'm like, I'm probably the only person that's gonna walk in here that might play in a World Cup, And I look at it like, that's kind of crazy, to think about that. Like
that would put you in rare fight.
You're just like even just seeing that the trophy and like thinking that people are just walking past it and how much that actually means to me that like I'm trying to make it there, and it's just it was just a kind of a surreal feeling.
Yeah. So if we ask you one more question about the World Cup and we get to a place where we say, what would it mean to you to make that roster?
Yeah, I don't think I have words for that. I think it's just the feeling of, honestly, being fortunate, being super, because a year ago now I haven't even made my debut yet, for the national team. And to be in this position right now, also 2 years ago, I would have probably thought you're crazy. I would always believe in myself, but I would have thought that's pretty crazy, and it would mean everything. You know, it would mean my family gets to watch, you know, me playing a World Cup when they've watched my dad coaching one, playing two, and like to have that as a family is something that I'd be so proud of, that, you know, they're supporting me now, and we supported my dad for all these years in the World Cups. It's like now everyone can root for me, and like that's all I want as a kid, you know, to one day, you know, hopefully everyone's watching me one day. So yeah, it would be the greatest thing in my life for sure.
Sebastian, thank you for your time.
Thank
we
you so
appreciate
much.
it very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break here. As we go to break here, just a quick reminder for Echoes Live Music. Now, if you want to celebrate just the vastness and the global nature of music, just like the World Cup, well, you do it with a wonderful mix of Brazilian jazz nights, Turkish funk, Arab, Viet pop. They've got DJs down there, Greek and Nigerian nights. It's Echoes Live Music Bar. This is a really cool spot, 900 Richmond, near the intersection of Montrose and Richmond, right next to the Shell station. If you're coming in for the World Cup, you're going to want to hit up Echoes Live Music Bar. They serve up Greek and Mexican-inspired food and cocktails that reflect the Greek and family culture. You can follow Echoes to get the schedule on Instagram and Facebook. They do blues in there as well. I mean, you name it, blues, jazz, really, really cool spot, but really exploring all the different genres of music. That's Echoes Live Music. A big, big thank you to them as well. Also, lsse.net. This is where you can get the secure package that is the inclusive hospitality package. You get extraordinary seats, elevated food and beverage, exceptional service. You get it through Lone Star Sports and Entertainment, who've been bringing all that great content through the stadium, including our 7 World Cup games. We are almost there. You can secure the package. Again, extraordinary seats, elevated food and beverage, exceptional service. LSSE.net to book now. LSSE.net to book now. June 14th is the opener. Germany and Curacao. Stay with us. When we come back, the new head coach of Texas A&M women's soccer, it's Bobby Shuttleworth.
If you or someone you care about are searching for a stable, meaningful career, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 66 in Houston wants to talk to you. For more than 125 years, IBEW 66 has supported men and women who build, maintain, and operate our electrical grid. Their paid apprenticeship programs in electrical construction and line work offer classroom learning and a recognized career in as little as 3 to 5 years. Visit IBEW66.com. Powering careers, powering the future, IBEW66.com. Whether you're buying a home or you're refinancing, Kent Jones at Dream Rate Mortgage is the guy for you. He's done over 1,400 closings. He's been in it for 30 years. He knows all the hacks. He can save you thousands and thousands of dollars. He does it all the time. Dream Rate Mortgage is the way to go. Shop your loan. Kent Jones loves that. Dream Rate Mortgage, 975loans.com. That's 975loans.com.
Dream Rate Mortgage, LLC, NMLS number 2482473. J. Ken Jones, NMLS number 356118. Equal housing lender.
Some people collect purses and shoes and jewelry.
Some people collect cars, watches, and guns.
Clara collects the silverwork of great silversmiths. She's hoping to find something made by Paul Revere.
If Danny collected cars and watches, he'd only have a few hundred of them. But Danny collects firearms.
If the Smithsonian had a gun collection, it'd be like the one I have at Collector's Firearms.
Honey, the Smithsonian does have a gun collection.
I'm sure mine is better.
Well, I know of one way that it's better for sure.
What's that?
Yours is for sale.
You're right. That definitely makes it better.
This is the year I hope to find something by Paul Revere. So come and take a look at what Danny has for sale.
The best gun shops in America are in Texas, of course. Collector's Firearms. Right on the corner at Whiff-Timer in Voss and Houston on Alpha Road in Dallas. 1 block east of the tollway. Collector's Firearms.
Ready to take your game to the next level? Then visit any of the 4 PGA Tour Superstore locations in the Houston area. Enjoy free express fittings every day, or step inside the studio for a premium club fitting experience designed to dial in every detail of your game. Work on your swing in our practice space. Keep your clubs performing their best with our expert club repair, and explore the widest selection of top brands and clubs, apparel, footwear, and golf technology. Everything you need to play better under one roof. PGA Tour Superstore. This is Golf Superstore.
Howdy, Ags. Andrew Monaco, voice of the Aggies here for HRMP, a proud partner of Aggie Athletics. For nearly 25 years, HRMP has been protecting the interests of Aggie-owned businesses. HRMP provides comprehensive human resource services, including HR compliance, benefits administration, and payroll. If you're an Aggie-owned business, let HRMP customize a plan to eliminate your HR burdens. Learn more by visiting hrp.net/AGS. That's hrp.net/AGS today.
For premier recreation, dining, and entertainment, head to East River 9, located 1 mile from downtown Houston. East River 9 is the only 9-hole par 3 golf course, driving range, and pickleball facility in town that features night golf under its LED stadium lights. The venue boasts a tremendous view of the Houston skyline, which is perfect for sunset gazing while enjoying your favorite cocktail or River House restaurant menu item. Go to eastriver9.com to book a tee time, pickleball court, or sign up for our annual membership. You'll be glad you did. 3 incredible courses, 1 standard. Visit sterlinggolf.com. That's Sterling with 1 G. And book your next round today.
This is Soccer Matters, brought to you by the Daspit Law Firm. From the Huntington Bank Studios, here's Glenn Davis.
All right, welcome back to Soccer Matters on ESPN 97.5. Hey, there is an amazing place to watch the World Cup. It's called Magnolia Ballroom. It's going to be the premier spot to watch it. And the Magnolia Ballroom experience includes all-day access, premium cocktails, curated light bites. The really cool thing about this is a historic building. 2 blocks from Main Street, 1 block from the Post Houston, and approximately only 1.2 miles from the Fan Fest. So if you want to get in and get cooled off, perfect place. But I will tell you, having toured it and having been there before for events, this place bleeds history in Houston, Texas. Wood floors, big rotunda. It will be the most unique place to watch the World Cup. It is the Magnolia Ballroom. Early 1900s, it was a brewery producing barrels of beer right on the bayou. It is the Magnolia Ballroom, the Magnolia Cup experience in downtown Houston. Get there for the best in watching the Cup, Magnolia Ballroom. All right, with that, we bring on a guy who, he's had an incredible professional career, a real rise in the coaching ranks very, very quickly. Former New England Revolution, played 232 matches in Major League Soccer. I believe 127 of them at New England, Minnesota, Chicago, Atlanta United. 53 clean sheets in Major League Soccer. Just named a couple of months ago the head coach of the Texas A&M women's soccer team. He's Bobby Shuttleworth. He joins us now. Bobby, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we were talking about how many games I got to call with you in goal and doing your thing as a professional soccer player, and it brought back some really good memories.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Seems like a million years ago now, but yeah, some great memories.
All right. So FSU, associate head coach, 2 national titles with Brian Penske. Just take me through that experience, because your rise has been really pretty quickly here. You're still a very young guy.
Yeah, I mean, I was at Atlanta at the start of the 22 season. I left Chicago after 21. Kind of knew I was winding down towards the end of my career. And obviously Atlanta, great club. So started there and kind of middle of the year got a call from Brian about the opportunity at Florida State, and kind of knowing college was, probably the route that I wanted to take in my coaching career. It was just kind of too good of an opportunity to pass up. So ended up retiring in the middle of the 22 season to take that job with Brian, and obviously had an amazing experience with him at Florida State.
A couple of national titles there, and Brian Penske also was at Tennessee. If I look at your choice you make to get into coaching, that's not one everybody makes. A lot of guys want to get into TV and different things. I know you, at your time with New England Revolution, you were also doing some assistant work with Bentley College up there. So this kind of seems like it was in the plan for you.
Yeah, I kind of went through different phases throughout my career. At one point wanted to maybe, work in, wanted to do the coaching, then maybe thought about maybe working in a front office, then maybe some agency work, and then kind of circled, full circle came back around to the coaching stuff. And just felt like it was the most natural fit for me and my personality and kind of where I saw my future going. Um, so like kind of explored some different ideas, but really felt like this was the most clear path forward for me in my professional career after soccer.
2009 to 2022, you're in Major League Soccer. Boy, you saw a lot of change. Like, I've seen so much change from calling the games for 30 years prior to this season. You really saw this ascend and go into a different place, salary wise and infrastructure, everything.
Yeah, and I'd say even since I've retired, it's gone. It's crazy how much it's developed, And I remember starting in 2009, there, weren't a ton of soccer specific stadiums, and now you see everybody, not only soccer specific stadiums, but they got their own training grounds, and just how far the sport has come, and how far MLS has advanced in such a short period of time. It's pretty amazing to see, and obviously just very grateful for the small portion that I could, be involved in and with it.
So let me go back to Brian Penske at FSU, and what are some of the things, we all get influences, we all have mentors, we all have people we take parts of the game from to form our opinion about it. Tell me a little bit about Brian and what you learned from maybe him.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to him. Obviously he took, he had a successful career before he went to Florida State, and then, took an opportunity and took that job, and big job taking over for Mark Krikorian and the success that they had had at Florida State before that. Like, not an easy job to take, and he had a very, very good Tennessee team. So he took a risk himself, and then obviously to take someone who hadn't worked on the women's side. I'd done some volunteer coaching at Kennesaw State when I was at Atlanta, but not really had a full-time experience as a women's college soccer coach. So for him to take that risk and take a chance on me, obviously forever grateful to him, and the way that he, being able to watch him operate from a day-to-day perspective, and the way he manages players, and the way he goes about planning training, and just the level of detail that he puts into everything that goes into running a successful program. I just tried to soak it in as much as possible, and he allowed me to have a lot of responsibility and collaborate a lot on what we were doing. So, I don't think I could have obviously had that first step with anyone better than Brian, and incredibly grateful to him.
So he's a legendary coach in the college game, and you're also replacing the architect of the program in G. Guerreri. And I know you're getting this question a lot. Some thoughts on that and stepping into this program after, somebody's been there for that extended period of time in Aggie lore.
Yeah, I mean, when this opportunity started to look like it could be real, obviously I was very excited because of just everything that College Station has to offer, and the university has to offer. This is a special place, I think, and the people here are amazing. And got to feel that a little bit in 23 when we visited with Florida State, just to see the environment and the atmosphere and the facilities, and all of it was pretty impressive. And obviously G did an amazing job here, and for a very, very long time had this program operating at a very, very high level. So, the first thing that, when I got this job was I texted G just to look for if he would be willing to give me any guidance at all, and then to obviously just, pay respect to him and what he's built here. And we're going to try as much as we can to try to continue that success. So, he's been amazing to me since I've taken this job. He's been a gigantic resource, and been fully open and welcoming, and to me and to my family, and has made himself available to anything that we've needed as a program, and then whatever I've needed personally. So, again, very grateful to him as well.
That's a wonderful transition. That's a great story, and that's a great thing for people to know as well, after all of his work and now your new work. Coming in College Station. How about just being in the state of Texas, a great soccer state for the women's college game? I mean, you got a lot of fertile recruiting areas, the Houston area, the Dallas area. There are players all over the place here.
Yeah, and even like when I was at Florida State, I felt like I was taking multiple trips a year to Texas, to Dallas, to Houston to go recruiting, and there's a lot of really, really good players in the state, a lot of really good clubs, a lot of really good coaches. So, when I took over here within our roster, I think we had 15 something players from Texas on our roster. And I think you can recruit the state. If you can recruit the state of Texas well, then you're gonna be in good hands with a lot of good players.
Important for you to bring in an international player or two for something different, maybe?
Yeah, I think, looking at kind of my experience at Florida State, heavy international influence that happened at that program. I know it was important for, Mark Krikorian brought in. He was, probably one of the first ones to really bring in a lot of international players in the women's game in college. I do feel as if European players often bring a different kind of football culture and feel to a program. So it's definitely something that there's been some internationals here previously. There's been a strong link with Canada at this program. We're bringing in, we have an Icelandic U19 international that's coming in for the fall. And we're definitely looking and continuing to look abroad for sure to try to see if there's, any players that make sense with this program and then this university.
Bobby Shuttleworth, head coach, Texas A&M, the Aggies, they'll get go. Well, he's already getting going, but they will be after the World Cup. Gears will shift to the college game as well in this country, and of course, you got a Women's World Cup next summer, right? So that's a great thing to leverage when it comes to excitement and passion for the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And even when I was at Florida State, we had, I think, four of our players were taking part in the World Cup when the current players were taking part in the World Cup. So it's great. I think, the level of college soccer in the world game it's high. We have a lot of players that are playing college soccer that are playing in, U17 World Cup, U20 World Cup, and then obviously the full World Cup as well. So I think, college soccer plays a gigantic part in the women's game in general. So it's exciting to be a part of.
And I'm thinking, Bobby, at FSU, also here at Texas A&M. I mean, you got a lot of young ladies that, their ambition is to go next level, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think, within, Florida State this past year, we had 10 players that ended up going professional from that roster. And, that's kind of what we're trying to build, continue to do here and build here is a professional environment that has pros. And we want to help to develop pros and then help them find that next opportunity because the women's game, and especially in the last 3 to 5 years, has just grown crazy amount. So, the opportunity to make a career out of this on the women's side is that's a real thing now.
I remember calling some of FSU's games, and I remember all the Icelandic connection that you had. What is it about Iceland that produces a lot of these young women that are exceptional soccer players?
Yeah, I think they're pretty consistently a top 10 country in the world, and I think, very competitive at every major tournament. I think you even see it on the men's side now, obviously for a very small nation, they're continuing to do well and having players playing in big leagues all over the world, so I think it probably has something to do with their development and their structure and what they're doing as a country to be able to identify and then develop players at a young age and help them to get into these top clubs and then obviously beneficial to the full team as well.
He's Bobby Shuttleworth, former Major League Soccer goalkeeper, 232 matches in MLS. Majority of those, or a good portion of them, at the New England Revolution. You'll remember him. Played from 2009 to 2022. Also played at the University of Buffalo from upstate New York. Just as we continue on here, as you're building out your roster, how do you adapt that maybe to kind of the style of play you're looking to put forward?
Yeah, I think, first was getting here and kind of starting to build all the relationships and identify strengths of the players and kind of, what was going on at the program and where we needed some help and where we felt we were really good in what areas and then, getting an idea of kind of the way we wanted to play and then obviously bringing in players that are going to fit and suit that. So I feel like we've done a pretty good job of getting Was fortunate enough that a couple recruiting classes that they already had signed for players, they did an amazing job with, Coach G and his staff. So we had some really good young players coming in, but then I feel like we've also identified some players and got some players signed that are going to come in and help us kind of all over the field and help us be pretty dynamic and hopefully score some goals.
Aggie athletics is a pretty big deal. It's amazing the crowds they draw for college football. I mean, you got this amazing facility on campus for soccer. I mean, you name it, they compete in every sports. They want to win. There's no question about that. What's it like just kind of getting into that environment?
Yeah, I think it's not like anything that I've really seen before. I've been on quite a few college campuses and just the facilities, the resources. It's pretty amazing here. And since I've been on campus, the women's volleyball just won the national championship. Women's tennis just won the national championship the other day. Equestrian was a runner-up in the national championship. Like every single sport it seems like right now is competing at a high level. And I think the athletic department does an amazing job of providing resources and support that allows the sports to feel like they're in a place where they can compete for those things and compete for trophies. And I think it starts with Trev Alberts. I think that guy is very buttoned up and organized and detailed and very personable and makes it so you feel very comfortable and you feel like you're getting the things you need to, ideally build a roster that's going to make you competitive.
Exciting times. Bobby Shuttleworth joining us here tonight, the new coach of Texas A&M. All right, so I noticed you bring in another MLS guy that I had the privilege of calling games, Mark Birch, and he's going to be a part of your staff. Talk a little about building out your staff and kind of what you do along those lines.
Yeah, so I wasn't absolutely dying to be a head coach. It was kind of just if the opportunity arose at the right place, then I would maybe try to pursue that. So it started to kind of think about, in my head what I would need from a staff perspective and, my strengths and weaknesses, and then trying to, think about how can I kind of supplement and add to that. And was fortunate enough, the director of ops here, Kurt Magnuson, he's been here for 30 years, was here the entire time that Coach G was here and went to school here. So he's an Aggie and knows the traditions and kind of the way that the university operates. So he's been absolutely invaluable to us as we got started here. And then Alyssa Motz, who is an assistant here, she had an 11-year NWSL career playing for Chicago Red Stars. She's been on staff here for the last four years. This is her fifth season, so she continued on with us. And I think for the perspective of when we're recruiting, but then also players that are on our roster, to see a player that played at the program and then went on to have a successful decade playing at the highest level in the U.S. Like, this is a player that went to this place and is doing and did the things that our players should and want to do. So I think it's invaluable to have her here as well. And then brought Mark with me. Him and I played together in Minnesota for 2 years and quickly became very close friends and have stayed in touch as we kind of, he moved to Colorado and he's got twin boys that are 7 years old. And I have a 7-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. So we have kids that are kind of similar age and really good friend of mine. And, just from a coaching perspective, amazing coach and detailed and empathetic. So it was kind of a no-brainer to try to get him to come along. And then we have our other assistant goalkeeper coach is Allie Haniff, who just a veteran in the women's college game and been at a bunch of different universities. So kind of knows and has that experience of what it means to be at a successful program. So feel really good about our staff and kind of how we can help our players.
Exciting stuff. He's Bobby Shuttleworth. All right, before I let you go, Bobby, it's 2026. It's the World Cup in the United States. You already told me you're coming into Houston for the the Netherlands against Sweden. That's going to be a great group stage match. Just some thoughts overall on the World Cup, what you think it can do to affect the sport in this country, and then just the thought on going to see the Dutch, one of the greatest teams to never win the World Cup.
Yeah, I think obviously exciting that it's on U.S. soil and in North America, and think that for just your average fan, hopefully can kind of spur those feelings of maybe wanting to go to more MLS games and USL games and NWSL games, and I think within the U.S. soccer culture. You know, we're talking about the growth of MLS within my time there. If you look at the growth of just soccer culture within the U.S. within the last, little bit here, it's pretty amazing to see, and I think obviously would be great if the U.S. does well and can kind of really encourage those things to happen a little bit more, but, yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing World Cup. And I think, it's going to be a lot of good teams. So obviously going to be difficult to predict that winner. But Holland, I think a very good team, obviously a very good team. Excited to watch them in Sweden. I think that's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I think you're right. By the way, you've got a massive international coming up to Texas A&M. You got Argentina taking on Honduras at Kyle Field. That's Saturday, June 6th. Argentina against Honduras. That's pretty amazing. That's coming to your campus.
Yeah, we're excited, and obviously excited to see Messi and be able to watch him play, and just to have him in College Station. It's pretty crazy to think about. A couple of years, I think probably about 18 months ago or a year ago, they had Brazil versus Mexico here as well. So amazing that the athletic department, they go out and they're able to bring in, you're talking about the greatest player to ever play, one of the greatest players to ever play, and he's coming to Kyle Field. So, amazing opportunity to go watch him, and he's going to be, training on our field, and, it's amazing stuff.
Defending World Cup champions in College Station. So is Bobby Shuttleworth, the new head coach at Texas A&M. Bobby, thanks so much for coming on tonight, and really wish you the best of luck in the upcoming season and putting it all together.
Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate you having me.
All right. That's Bobby Shuttleworth. Great stuff there to finish the night. By the way, if you want tickets, just to remind you about that Argentina game, this is massive. I mean, to think that the defending champions are up there with their core team, Argentina playing right before the start of the World Cup with that roster, Rodrigo de Paul, Julian Alvarez, Emi Martinez in goal. Saturday, June 6th, Texas A&M's Kyle Field. It's Argentina, Honduras. They're calling it the Road to 26. I mean, look, you're getting a glimpse at them right before the start of the World Cup. You can get tickets at roadto26.com, roadto26.com. Again, that's the defending champions, Argentina taking on Honduras. That's not one to miss. Up at Kyle Field in College Station, roadto26.com. That does it tonight for us. Big thank you to Brian McDonald. Hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at Glenn Davis Sock. Also, YouTube, and also, believe it or not, yes, TikTok. It is Soccer Matters. We're getting the word out everywhere. We got the World Cup coming. Life is good for us here in Houston, Texas. We'll take a break, and until tomorrow night in Destination 2026, come back to ESPN 97.5. Big thank you.
Hi, this is Kirsten Stokes with Stokes Hardware, where your old school service isn't gone. It's our specialty. Our knowledgeable team knows plumbing, painting, and power tools inside and out. Whether you're fixing a leak, starting a project, or need the right tool for the job, we'll walk you through it. Skip the big box runaround.